Silver has been effectively used for centuries because of its natural antibacterial properties. Today, it's used in thousands of consumer products, including medical products, fabrics, and supplements. Because silver has the highest electrical conductivity, thermal conductivity, and reflectivity of any metal, it is very effective as a colloid, silver suspended in water. Common colloidal or ionic silvers contain positively charged silver ions that have the ability to steal an electron from the bacteria's cell membrane. If enough electrons are stripped, the cell membrane ruptures and the bacteria can no longer function. Although ionic silver is useful, this one-to-one electron exchange requires multiple applications or a high concentration of silver to achieve the effectiveness needed. Conversely, SilverSol's unique nano-silver particle has a patented silver oxide coating, Ag4O4, that can steal thousands of electrons per particle, resulting in a continuous or catalytic action. In addition, we supercharge the nanoparticle with the same frequency as ultraviolet light, 890 to 910 terahertz. Although this UV light frequency is harmless to human tissue, it is highly destructive to bacteria, fungus, and yeast, and doesn't require direct physical contact in order to be effective. This powerful combination of silver oxide coating and resonant UV frequency multiplies the effectivity exponentially. In fact, SilverSol at a concentration of 10 ppm is up to 3 times more effective than traditional colloidal, silver hydrosols, or ionic silver products containing up to 3,000 ppm. Best of all, SilverSol is backed by 420 independent third-party studies, including 32 safety studies and 5 human ingestion studies. Unlike other silver products, SilverSol won't harm probiotics, isn't metabolized in the body, and is safely excreted with no residual buildup. This means SilverSol products can be safely used every day without the drawbacks of traditional silver colloids, hydrosols, and ionic silver products. Make SilverSol your natural, safe, and effective solution.
Welcome to discovering, finding out about, getting your questions answered, and looking into remedies that will help prevent diabetes. Yes, we can actually prevent. And what I'm starting off the program with today is this very statement that you and I can take and control what's going on with our life and our health. I started talking last week about Lady Tessa Thought, and she talks about the condition she was in before she had the knowledge and information that she could do to help eliminate 90% of diabetes can be prevented. Yeah, I said that, 90%, according to the American Medical Association, can be prevented. So, Tessa said this: don't be afraid to face diabetes. You'll have good days and bad days. But there are wonderful natural remedies out there that really work. And listen to this last statement she said: you can take control of diabetes, not looking at it for an excuse to be sick, unhealthy, and just because it runs in the family is because nobody in the family is willing to make the choice to change the diet so it doesn't become an active something that deteriorates our body. We're going to talk about it today, going to give you some interesting facts, and let you know this before I do that. I want you to know that I am using words and information from a book, and the book I'm using it from is called The Diabetic Epidemic: Our Deadly Fascination with Junk Foods. Deadly fascination with junk foods. That automatically tells me that there is something that is the direct cause of what's going on. And with that in mind, like this happened 16 years ago that Dr. Rodier wrote this book and shared knowledge and information. And let me tell you a little bit more about the credentials of the individual that put in writing as a medical doctor. And Dr. Rodier, he's a medical doctor, has medical practice in Salt Lake City, Utah, and is a recognized authority in nutrition and integrative medicine and psychoneuroimmunology. There are things that can change our life and our habit. In his efforts to change traditional medicine's way of thinking, it's an uphill battle right there. He's trying to change the traditional medicine's way of thinking. So what has he done? He has done extensive research to scientifically validate the use of natural therapies using material taken from the standard American journals. So that means there is some literature that already knows that they know that you should know about our life and our health, because research has been, continues to be done. So, validate the use of natural therapies using material taken from standard medical journals. His integration of natural therapies in his practice provides him with. So he's actually taken these natural ways of conquering health issues and provides with a unique perspective on herbs and supplements. Perspective, a way of looking at it, a way of saying, yes, individuals like myself and Remedy This Naturally can be a source as education for prevention and being able to make it possible for us to have remedies and herbs and supplements that can help balance the homeostasis in our bodies, and we can have a better quality of life. Dr. Rodier has traveled the world. He's volunteering at clinics for displaced people and also in the Natural Health Service Corps. He studied at Baylor School of Medicine and the University of Medical at Utah Medical School. He serves an active role as a member of the editorial board of the Utah Medical Association. Ain't no shabby guy here, folks. He's also chairman of the Utah Medical Association's Environmental Committee and teaches integrative medicine at the University of Utah Medical School in food and nutritional department. And at the medical school, where he's also the executive admissions committee. In addition, he has a national newsletter for integrative medicine. Dr. Rodier has been enlightened with the information that he's willing to share to help us enjoy the days we have and not be overcome and just die a slow death. We can do something about it. You know, let's talk about a few things, and I'm going to back up here and I'm going to go with these. And, you know, millions of people, as we're talking, and most of them don't even know it, are on the brink of a diabetic disaster. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about Tessa and what she did and what she felt like. And you're going to think about it. I'm reading it from your thoughts and how you feel about things. You know, why are we hearing more and more about type 2 diabetes? What's going on? Because it happens more than ever, and these are old statistics, but they're bad enough for you to pay attention. Because it happens more than ever. More than 800,000 new cases will be diagnosed, and this was taken from his book back in 2006. And it's not gotten any better. It's costly. More than $132 billion was spent on treatment in 2003. Treatment. Victims are younger. Cases in people under 39 have jumped 70% since 1990. Causes are more serious. It's the 7th leading killer in the United States. And with that in mind, think about this thought. 33% of today's children will become diabetic. Okay? What's going on? Why is it? What's happening? What is so detrimental about this? What type 2 diabetes? You know, what do we talk about type 2? Well, first of all, not all diabetes is created equal. Type 1, currently afflicting approximately 1 million people in the United States in a chronic condition caused by the pancreas' inability to produce proper use of insulin. So we know what the problem is. And insulin is an essential hormone that helps do what? We've got to have the insulin to convert sugar, starches, and other foods into energy, the fuel of life. So we got to make a conversion here. Without it, sugar stays in the blood and can't move into the cells, causing blood glucose levels to soar. This condition requires insulin injections, typically throughout the life, to stabilize blood sugar. Okay, now, what I'm going to talk about now is what used to be called adult onset, and that's type 2 diabetes. Diabetes differs in one way. Type 2 sufferers also have a struggle with insulin. What's that? The pancreas cannot produce enough, or the cells may have become insulin resistant, turning away blood sugar instead of accepting it and using it. But the key difference between types 1 and 2 is that type 2 isn't strongly linked to genetics. Only 3% of the victims show a genetic predisposition to insulin problems. Rather, it's linked to. I'm going to give you the answer as where the problem is for type 2 diabetes. And that is, it's linked to diet and lifestyle, which should give everyone in the sound of my voice a happy feeling that they know they could reverse or do something about what's going on. Because type 2 diabetes is linked to diet and lifestyle. What are we talking about? We're talking about obesity, sitting on your butt, laying around, inactivity. And of course, a deadly fascination with junk food, including sugary snacks, deep fried meals. They got us on that one, these Southern folks. You know that, they got us. And processed fruits and vegetables, which are also completely robbed of nutritional value. The heat destroys the vitamins, the minerals, the enzyme. And then we have to go back and take and buy enzymes to help us break down the foods that we just love. As old Tom used to tell me, he said, Claiborne is just good to my mouth. I just feel it. It tastes so good. Now, if you'll listen carefully, I'm going to share with you what goes wrong in diabetes. What screws up? All right. First of all, food is digested, glucose is released. And then 3, the pancreas releases insulin, and the cells receive energy. What goes wrong? Faulty insulin receptors, or insulin not working right, prevent the key from opening the cell and having to deal with it. As a warning, okay, Dr. Rodier says, I'd also like to suggest a third type of diabetes. Hadn't heard about that, had you? We're going to talk about, and that third type of diabetes is pre-diabetics. Pre-diabetes. The type is like standing on the edge of a cliff and leaning dangerously into the void. He states, I know millions of people are slipping on the gravel over the cliff to diabetes, and they don't even know it. You may be on the edge right now. See if this sounds like something you know about personally for yourself, or you know about someone that is in your family, relative, or friend, that we can talk about the fast facts on type 2 diabetes. I'm going to give you some facts on it. And if you will grab hold of what is happening and what we are doing and what is being marketed for us to purchase and buy and using, and if we would just change our habit of what we are eating because it's easy for us to do. So let's talk about fast facts on type 2 diabetes. 1, the pancreas may produce insulin, but here comes the but. Pancreas may produce insulin, but it is insignificant, or the body no longer knows how to use it. And that's what's called insulin resistance. The body don't know what to do with it. Now, carefully, the next statement. Approximately 95% of Americans diagnosed with diabetes have the type 2 variety. So we're getting it in place. Type 2 can be as life-threatening as type 1. And what are we talking about? We're talking about blindness. We're talking about having legs amputated, or other arms, or amputation, I should say, stood up. We talk about organ failure and early death. We take and increase the speed of our leaving this life. Nearly 6 million people with full-blown diabetes 2 don't even know they have it yet, and may be permanently damaging their health. Up to 20 million people likely have prediabetes, which will explode into a type 2 condition if they don't get treatment. Now, weight has a little thing to do with it. Listen, for every 2 pounds of weight increase in the U.S., diabetes prevalence goes up 9%. So if we're just talking about having 2 pounds overweight, and you can have a prevalence of 9% more. Type 2 diabetes is, careful and listen, please. This is your lifeline. This is, I am throwing to you. Claiborne Holtzman is stating because Dr. Rodier said the research shows type 2 diabetes is, you ready for this? 90% preventable. How? How can diabetes be 90% preventable? Well, baby, it's like this. It's preventable with diet, exercise, and a healthy lifestyle. Herbal supplementation is the key to this prevention. I mean, that just slap you in the face and say, whoa, let me go back, Claiborne. Say that again. I won't pay attention. But now you got my attention, because that would only make it a 10% chance of you having diabetes if you can get rid of 90% of the preventable by diet, exercise, healthy lifestyle, and herbal supplements is the key to this prevention. That right now, parking lot should be full at Remedy This Naturally before we close, or right there we open in the morning at 10, and helping you be able to pick out something like, okay, hold on, bionutrition, blood sugar wellness. Think about that. Blood sugar wellness supplement at Remedy This Naturally. And it has it's got what is needed, like the cinnamon. It's got chromium. It's got the things that are needed for you and I to be able to prevent. And if we will cut out the sugar, refined sugar, I mean, drinking it, we're killing our kids with those big 2 liters of sugar. And look, no, don't even go there. I know what you said. You said, well, I drink diet. Shame on you. Look up. Look up the ingredients, the aspartame, the NutraSweet, and see what they do to the bodies that consume it. It's a death sentence. Let me go back. Need to stop on that. Okay. The pre-diabetic blood sugar may be consistently astronomical, but he may not have a marked symptoms until too late. And like most health problems, diabetes is easier to prevent than to cure. And right now, a large majority who is in the sound of my voice have pre-diabetic and don't even know it, and then all of a sudden you go get some blood work done and say, hey, you're diabetic. Okay, so we at Remedy This Naturally focus on pre-diabetics, type 2 diabetics caused by poor diet and lifestyle. We believe in prevention. We believe that you should be in charge of your life and your health and do it naturally and get a partner like Remedy This Naturally to help you. If you're standing on the edge with pre-diabetes of this sort, and we can talk about things to identify, things to back slowly and surely away from the danger and go back and check out. I mean, that one product, Blood Sugar Wellness, it's powerful. And listen to who I'm going to quote next. The Center of Disease Control assess that today's generation will be the first to live shorter lives than their parents, due to large part to the incredible rise in diabetes. Basically, I'll read it. I'll read it again. And this is from the Center of Disease Control. They assert that today's generation will be the first to live shorter lives than their parents. And the parents, hopefully, will hang around so they can raise the grandchildren. Due to large part to the incredible rise in diabetes. It's a shame when it's preventable. 90% preventable. Okay? 90% inverter. I'm going to interrupt and ask Lee if he would go ahead and play the commercial. What I really want to play is the whiteboard presentation on the silver and what it can do and how it can work. And whenever you're ready, just go ahead and do it, Lee, and I'll hush. And we'll talk about more about this diabetes and how bad it is after this. But this is the first line of defense. Okay? Let's go for it here. Yeah, if you're ready.
Its natural antibacterial properties. Today, it's used in thousands of consumer products, including medical products, fabrics, and supplements. Because silver has the highest electrical conductivity, thermal conductivity, and reflectivity of any metal, it is very effective as a colloid, silver suspended in water. Common colloidal or ionic silvers contain positively charged silver ions that have the ability to steal an electron from the bacteria's cell membrane. If enough electrons are stripped, the cell membrane ruptures and the bacteria can no longer function. Although ionic silver is useful, this one-to-one electron exchange requires multiple applications or a high concentration of silver to achieve the effectiveness needed. Conversely, SilverSol's unique nano silver particle has a patented silver oxide coating, Ag404, that can steal thousands of electrons per particle, resulting in a continuous or catalytic action. In addition, we supercharge the nanoparticle with the same frequency as ultraviolet light, 890 to 910 terahertz. Although this UV light frequency is harmless to human tissue, it is highly destructive to bacteria, fungus, and yeast, and doesn't require direct physical contact in order to be effective. This powerful combination of silver oxide coating and resonant UV frequency multiplies the effectivity exponentially. In fact, SilverSol at a concentration of 10 ppm is up to 3 times more effective than traditional colloidal, silver hydrosols, or ionic silver products containing up to 3,000 ppm. Best of all, SilverSol is backed by 420 independent third-party studies, including 32 safety studies and 5 human ingestion studies. Unlike other silver products, SilverSol won't harm probiotics, isn't metabolized in the body, and is safely excreted with no residual buildup. This means SilverSol products can be safely used every day without the drawbacks of traditional silver colloids, hydrosols, and ionic silver products. Make SilverSol your natural, safe, and effective solution.
Just pay attention and what it does and how it can benefit you. The SilverSol. It's the first thing I use just about for everything when it comes to my bodies, inside and outside. Check it out. Now, what we're talking about diabetes. We just talked about it being 90% preventable. And we're talking about some untold truths. And one, sugar has overwhelmed our bodies and undermined the most important functions. Sugar, poison. And artificial sweeteners are even worse. So what do we recommend? Honey, stevia, xylitol, artificial sweeteners. And some folks are so sweet they can stir it with their finger and keep it hot, keep it sweet. Yeah, don't forget that. So sugar has overwhelmed our bodies and undermined its most important function. That's a truth that's not being told. Truth that's not being told is inflammation is the root of diabetes and other diseases and must be controlled. Get the inflammation out. Number 3, nature holds the answer to our diabetes questions. Check out the ingredients in some of the things that help prevent blood sugar at Remedy This Naturally. Can benefit you greatly. And untold truth number 4, controlling our blood sugar may not only prevent diabetes, it can also reduce disease and dramatically enhance our quality of life. Simple. Quit putting the things that are not good for us in the mouth. Okay, talked about that. Talked about the Center for Disease Control. But how bad is this diabetic thing? The type 2 diabetes, now listen to this. What kind of disease is growing? It is the fastest growing disease in America today. We used to call diabetes adult onset. But this diabetes, but its increasing prevalence among young people has made the title obsolete. Our deadly frustration, no, not frustration, I'm frustrated because we have an infatuation. Our deadly fascination with junk food, I guess that can help too, but with junk food is largely to blame. Which means if we have the right information about nutrition, many diabetic cases could be eliminated. The average American today eats 530 calories more than they did in 1970. Not only are we eating too much food today, we're eating the wrong food. Let's see. Would you like to know, and these numbers are low because they're in the book that was 2002. Okay, what the average American eats per year. Here we go. Cookies and cakes. How many pounds? 60. Ice cream. Oh, you're going to love this one. 23 gallons. Now, this is what the average American eats per year. Potato chips, 7 pounds. French fries, 51 pounds. Soda pop, or drinks here, we call them in the South, 57 gallons. That's what the average American eats per year. 60 pounds in cookies and cakes, 23 gallons of ice cream, potato chips 7 pounds, French fries 51 pounds, and good old soda pop drinks 57 gallons. You know, I made the statement that millions of Americans have type 2 diabetes and don't even know it. Every day that passes that these individuals continue to eat, work, and live without treatment shortens their lives or damages their quality of future life. I mean, that's just the facts. They're just the facts. As Friday used to say, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Know the symptoms and recognize the signs. Denial is not a cure. If you currently exhibit 2 or more of the following symptoms, 2 or more of the following symptoms, I believe you may be diabetic or pre-diabetic. Okay. You want to listen to them? Here we go. Start to make yourself a little pencil and paper because this is interesting. If you have 2 or more of these here, signs you may have diabetes. 1, increased/frequent urination. Okay? Dehydration, and most Americans do not drink. It is amazing how many people don't even know what water is. It's because they don't drink it. Okay, number 3, excessive intake of water in our food. In other words, you just go from one thing from dehydration to excess. Weight loss despite increased appetite. Nausea and or vomiting. Abnormal pain or discomfort, particularly after eating. Weakness or excessive fatigue. Absence of menstruation in women. Blurred or poor vision. Increased susceptibility to infection and or poor wound health. And impotence in men. Any of those hit home, 2 or more, then I believe you may be diabetic or pre-diabetic. Check it out. Now, here's a warning and a plea. What is that? If you don't have any of these symptoms, please don't believe you're in the clear. Many of the above are considered late indicators for diabetes, which means that you can have diabetes and not show any outward signs. Often symptoms of diabetes are subtle and easy to miss. Occasional numbness in the feet, itching over the entire body, or frequent yeast infections, to name a few. To help mitigate and damage untreated diabetes can do, you need to focus on prevention rather than treatment after symptoms occur. Prevention begins with identifying and watching for risk factors. And I was saying, go in and look on the shelf at Remedy This Naturally, and there is a blood sugar wellness product. One of them is by BioNutrition. Look at the list of ingredients. These are foods that should be in our diet, or spices that should be in our seasoning, that will help us be able to let the body have what it's deficient in. So once you get it, you put it in the mouth, and the computer says, wow, you just gave me something I can send to the pancreas, the liver, vital organs in my body, that I can be made whole and not be a victim to pre-diabetic or diabetic problems. 90%, folks, preventable. Okay? So check that out. I think that'd be something you want to know. Let's see here. Where did I go? What you get for flipping pages sometime, right? There. Okay, we did the diabetes. Oh, okay. If you already know your body struggles with sugar, this is a strong warning that you are at risk for diabetes. Shakiness, cravings, and thirst can all indicate either hypoglycemia, which is high blood sugar, or hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. If you react to sugar negatively, don't ignore it. Your body is trying to tell you something. That craving or unquenchable thirst is not normal. Consider, too, the prominent fact of diabetes. These would be like risk factors, many of which are genetic, okay? Important to understand what has gone on to the previous generation. Although I believe your DNA does not determine your fate, processing these markers can make you more susceptible to diabetes, so you need to recognize them. If even one or two of these risk factors describe who you are, don't be frightened. Although you may be at risk for type 2 diabetes, now is the time to become educated, to understand your opinions. No, your opinions need to understand the options you have and empower yourself with necessary change. And that starts with learning the untold truth. Okay? Risk factors for type 2 diabetes. 1, do you have a family history of the disease? 2, are you more than 40 years old? 3, is your body apple-shaped rather than pear-shaped? Is your waist larger than 35 inches in women and 40 inches in men? Do you have lead to sedentary lifestyle and eat a high-fat, high-carb diet? Do you have high blood pressure? For women, do you have a history of gestational diabetes or polycystic ovary syndrome? A, quote, a normal hormonal disorder causing women to have irregular absent menstruation. Number 8, are you of African American, Hispanic American, or Native American? Are you descendants from these folks? And do you have a history of kidney or gallbladder stones? The warnings are there. The things that try to help us be aware that they are causing us to have a problem is there. Okay? Now, some of the things you may want to check into is GTF, that's letter G, TF, glucose tolerance factor of chromium. Okay? Sometimes it's just a deficiency of that mineral, chromium, that would help balance. Okay? Check out things like cinnamon. And especially, you know, it's amazing. And this happens. Some of the treats for the holidays, like cinnamon is one, you know, spices that you use in the foods we eat have a tendency to help offset some of the things we're not putting in our body normally. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. You know? So blood sugar, wellness, that's just one out. And look at the label. It's a bottle in a box, and from BioNutrition. Check it out. It's just one of the products we have at Remedy This Naturally, but I really like the ingredients in this product. I really like what it can be do for prevention and helping and giving the body back what it's deficient in. That's what's so important. Okay? I want to go back and what we started with last time and find out where she went here. Where'd the girl go? Go back over here. Okay, Tessa. I'm going to try to get what was wrong. Then I'm going to try to get within the next few minutes here what we need to do and what she did was right to reverse her diabetes. Okay? Looking back to Tessa realized she was a diabetic even through adolescence. By the time I was a teenager, if I eat a candy bar, she says, within an hour or so, I just crash. After repeated dizzy spells, energy peaks and valleys, and even fainting incidents, her parents took the 14-year-old Tessa to her doctor for tests. But the test didn't find diabetes. So Tessa didn't change her active life, reduce her stress, or monitor her diet. She was told her weakness was brought on by anemia for the many years to follow. Tessa assumed her health problems, depression, fatigue, were all anemia related. In truth, Tessa was pre-diabetic with unregulated blood glucose levels that put her on the edge of developing one of the nation's most rapidly spreading diseases. And then Tessa fell over the edge. Early in her 20s, Tessa had 2 children, both weighed nearly 9 pounds at birth. Heavy babies can be inducive to diabetes. I believe I have congenital diabetes, but no one ever tested. During the pregnancy, she had terrible morning sickness, lost weight, and passed out frequently. I wasn't even taking prenatal vitamins because I didn't have much guidance, she said. I craved bananas. She adds that as a vain smile. I guess my body wanted the potassium or the sugar. Following the pregnancy, she was able to sustain a healthy weight for a time and return to her active lifestyle. Although she regularly struggled with depression, anxiety, fatigue, and regular illness, she contributed to her stress level and anemia. Diabetes wasn't even part of the picture. But by her age 30, Tessa began to gain weight. And I'm sorry to say this, weight gain was fast. To fight it, she tried an aggressive without regimen at a local gym, fueled by carbohydrate, these power bars, energy bars. The carb gave me immediate energy, but then a fast eating them and working out. I'd have a really bad low. One day on the walk home from the gym, I passed out on the sidewalk. I was so dizzy, so thirsty, and somebody had to stop to help me. It was a frightening experience that left Tessa at her wit's end. I went through solid years of trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Tessa remembers in frustration. Her doctor prescribed antidepressants and tried to further treat her anemia. By the time Tessa, at 5'3", weighed in at 234 pounds and nearly 100 pounds more than her normal weight, and she felt overwhelmed. Excuse me. By a tidal wave of accumulative, seemingly unrelated emotional and physical ailments, finally, nearly 20 years after her parents had taken teenage Tessa to see a doctor about her weakness, the test was positive. I was stunned. She says about receiving the diagnosis, I said, all right, how do I get rid of it? The doctor told her diabetes could be treated but not cured, and he advised her to avoid sugar, and that was it. The doctor didn't give me any plan, Tessa said. They didn't tell me to come in every 4 months so they could monitor my blood glucose levels. They just told me to eat right, but I didn't know anything about the role of carbohydrates or preventing inflammation, or even supplements can help. Tessa shook her head. It's a wonder I'm still alive. But Tessa is alive today. Her diabetes diagnosis was just the beginning of her odyssey, and she has many trials, setbacks ahead of her. But on that journey, she discovered some essential untold truths and found a solution that could help her regain her life. If Tessa's story resonates for you or someone you love, you must learn that untold truth about diabetes. What I will share with you in the things in the past in this book are things we've already talked about. And so, let's get Tessa over here right quick. Here we go. Got it turned down, couldn't find it. The next chapter for Tessa and you. After years of struggling unknown with diagnosis of diabetes, Tessa was desperate and ready for a change. Her diagnosis has come as a shock. It thought it is to die or live. She knew she had to do something to regain her control, and she did. After about the same time, her husband introduced her to nutritionists. I didn't know you could use herbs for diabetes, but she was willing to listen. She was skeptical, misdiagnosis what's going on. And a 29-year-old paraplegic woman with multiple health problems. The young woman was given a grim diagnosis at birth, and she started treating. And Tesla says, and I'm trying to watch the clock and I'm mumbling, excuse me for that. Let me get this last point. I thought that if a natural supplement could help women, these problems would go away. Why can't it help me, and why not help diabetes? Tesla included chromium, blood sugar combination, hydrocarbon reduction, combined supplements, among others. Tesla improved quickly with blood sugar combinations. And to get the rest of the story, go to Remedy This Naturally and ask about products we have to help with blood sugar, so you do not have to go through these things. And let's make sure it hasn't been 30 years that someone told you what was going on. Could have been the answer of blood sugar and diabetes taken care of. And I'm your host, Claiborne Holtzman, and thank you so much for caring and loving yourself and those you love, that you'll make sure you find out what the natural remedies are for your life and your health. May God bless, and may good health be yours naturally.